Hey, this is Johnny Fitness, and I'm here with Rob Sulaver of Bandana Training. We're in the stairwell of peak performance, and it's February 7th, which means tomorrow is the Empire State Building race.
Big day.
Big day for us.
Okay.
3 of the trainers at peak performance are going to be participating in it. It's an all-out test of pain threshold.
Basically, that's what it is, yeah.
And you know, we like to lead by example of peak performance and put ourselves in the shoes of our clients, so we like to test our boundaries, and this is a great test for us. It's pretty much the tallest thing we can climb here. I love running upwards.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like King Kong.
King Kong in that building.
That's it.
So, Johnny, I heard this is going to be your 5th time running this race?
This is my 5th time, yeah.
Okay, and
Veteran among us.
Yes, a veteran. Rob, 2nd time for you?
2nd time, yeah. Last year was round 1, and this is round 2.
Tell me a little bit about last year. Who won? What was the time?
It was pretty epic. So it's an all-out battle going into the door. You start out to heat of 50 people. You start out maybe 15, 20 feet away from a normal-sized door, and everyone rushes it. So if you don't get in through the door fast, you get a little bottlenecked.
It's a cluster at the bottom of the stairwell.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
People are elbowing, like trying to throw you out of the way. So it gets pretty ugly at the beginning of the race.
Not the prettiest face of humanity. It is important to get a good start. Basically, I got a little bit of a better start than Rob last year, so I was ahead of him. And there's 3 different stairwells and 2 transitions, and then you have to, once you get to the top, you have to run around the observation deck, which is a total, you know.
Yeah,
it's
freaky. It throws you through a loop because your legs are doing funny things at that point.
You're thinking up, breathe, up, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg.
That's all you're
thinking about. And then all of a sudden, it's flat. And you're like, what?
And you're running back.
The air is there, and you're 1,200 feet up in the air. Yeah, it's true.
So anyway, last year, so we start, we're at the start. Johnny's got a better start than me. And I would say about 20 stories in, I started hitting.
Exactly 20.
Yeah. I felt pretty good at this point. It was my first race, so I feel like, you know, early on in this race, you're like, oh, I got this, I can go for it. So I pulled ahead. And I think I had a pretty decent step on you, probably maybe more than a story, maybe 2 stories or
2 or 3,
yeah, at some point in there. And then about 40 stories in, Johnny starts feeling good.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah, I start zooming in. There was an all-out melee at the bottom, like people screaming, shouting, elbows. Rob and I basically, with me in the front first, and then him leading, past all those people. So we're passing people. We get into the 40s, but I'm not quite seeing him. Around the 50s, I start to see him around the tail as I turn. So each time you turn, you can get a little peek of what's ahead of you. And I started to zoom in on him in the 50s, 60s, 70s now, and like being able to see him every flight. And then we get to the 80s, and I just turned on, and I'm literally, I had an opportunity to at least try to pass. I mean, I literally came on hot.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, so like 70 stories in, I see Johnny probably one story below, 1 flight below. And then like 72, he's 3/4 behind. Right. By 75, he's half. By 76, 77, he's right on my tail. So I'm like, man, Johnny is gaining on me hard. And I felt like he had momentum going.
I had momentum. And literally, I mean, you're in such...
I'm nervous. I just didn't even think about it. You're talking about it right now. You're nervous.
You're in so much pain at this point. And the voice in your head is basically telling you to slow down and stop, you know? And I had a moment of hesitation. So I basically am at the point where I'm like steamrolling. I get right up to him, and I don't try and pass him. And I could have tried, but I literally thought this dude might throw an elbow. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want it.
You never know. You just never know what's going to happen.
He's a real competitor. Division I collegiate wrestler. You know, like I have no...
I might have thrown a headlock.
You never know. Cross the finish line in a guillotine choke, you know? You never know. But, so I had this moment of hesitation of, you know what? Maybe I can take him on the flat. Well, we get to the flat, and literally that's a moment before we get to the flat.
So you go out a door, you go out the stairwell, and then you turn the corner and you hit this flat, and we're literally at this point side by side.
Side by side.
It couldn't have been a closer finish.
Right, but he's got the inside track. And
right.
we have to make a right turn, another right turn, and we both just take off. I mean, like, we were both flying.
Sprinting. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was
we were crazy.
It was nuts.
And I only beat you by less than a second.
It was still the official time says a second, but it doesn't show the hundredth of a second decimal place at all, or tenth of a second. So,
and we're talking about like a chest full.
Yeah, I was probably
like
like 2 feet behind him, but at that speed we were running, that's like maybe 2/10 of a second.
So the rookie beat the veteran.
So
yeah,
the rookie did.
So, well, you guys have a really great relationship here at Peak. You guys are, awesome. You guys always train together. Super good friendship over here. But I want to know how competitive, how ugly is it going to get once you guys really hit that stairwell?
It does get competitive. The nice thing about competition ultimately is that it brings the best out of both of us. So there's a great sense about it. But at the same time, we won't win. I mean, I will punch this kid in the face if that means victory.
We've seen you guys training really, really hard. Any tips on your? Sorry. Thank you. Any training secrets? Any diet secrets that you guys have been, holding out in your back pocket for everyone?
I drink lion's blood. That is.
I'm a Puma blood man myself, so it's a small difference.
Right. So
more iron, but
lion's blood has more hemoglobin, but I don't think it is the specifics of the science behind it.
I don't want to bore you with that.
I heard that sometimes when you train with a bandana on your head, that helps you be a little bit more of a, bad.
Yeah, no, that definitely amps your awesomeness.
What about you, Johnny?
I actually do all my competitions with a bandana. I do, yeah.
Isn't that great?
It's kind of double up bandana training.
Yes, I love that.
I do up the ante a little bit because I also do war paint. So,
war paint, yeah. We like that.
True, that's absolutely true.
So it's safe to say that, Rob, you'll be sporting your bandana. Johnny, you'll have your war paint.
Yeah.
You guys are going to go to town on this race tomorrow.
Yeah.
And last question is for our fans out there, any tips on how to properly train for an event like this, or any tips on the night before, morning of, recovery, anything you guys want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, I mean, recovery is huge with this kind of training because it's so intense. Make sure you get your recovery dialed in, and that means a lot of foam rolling, a lot of stretching, good sleep, and then, your important nutrition and supplementation, general good solid nutrition and supplementation. I think that's key.
It's a good point. Like if you're a beginner, I think one of the biggest mistakes is to always think more is more, sometimes less is more. So we both do a taper of several days where the intensity really tapers off and the volume tapers off so that we can be fully recovered for the race.
Got it. Awesome, guys. Thanks, and we look forward to seeing the outcome of this race tomorrow. We wish you both luck.
Tomorrow.
Do make sure we get a nice Peak Pride out there.
Absolutely, always. 8:30, right?
8:30 p.m.
8:30 is our
tomorrow night. We'll be running up 86 flights as fast as we can.
So by 8:43, less than 8:41 is what I meant to say. You'll know the picture.
We'll know the results. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.